Hello, good evening. Welcome to this week's Feel Good Friday. Today's topic was inspired once again by my beautiful daughter, telling me this morning when I dressed that I looked like a poisonous ladybug, for obvious reasons because they're black with red dots. But it got me thinking. Recently, I recently did one Facebook Live on Know Thyself, and as I get to study myself and how I kind of adopt personality traits and characteristics of certain animal types, it got me questioning, am I like a poisonous ladybug? And I guess, certain people and ex-partners have, described me as a agent provocateur. There's just that something about me. And I've also seen quite a lot recently on Facebook, different people posting the quote about "don't mistake my kindness for weakness." And I think that was definitely true in the school, my students, because I was always kind and generous and had an empathetic listening ear. They thought I was a pushover until I shouted. And it didn't happen very often. I think in 2 years, maybe twice, and they were all sat there stunned and like, "Oh, miss, we've never heard you shout before." And often I get that reaction as well. Sometimes if I curse, people are always shocked that I've never heard you swear before. So really, the message that I wanted to bring today was, how do you act in certain ways? Is it an act that you put on to stay within quote unquote societal norms because you think that's how you should behave? Or is it an act that serves you? You act in a certain way to a certain point. Because absolutely that quote where it states about, a kind-hearted person will take a lot, but once you've moved past that threshold, then look out. And when I was reflecting today on my personality and how I would act in certain situations, that is definitely true of me. I take a lot. I've got the patience of a saint, and I can take a lot before you really push my buttons. But there's only one time I can ever remember that I was pushed to the point where I felt out of control, and I've got to be honest, it scared me. And for 2 days afterwards, I was still shaking, and the adrenaline was still pumping, because it's just not in my nature. I'm, like I said, generally a very kind-hearted person that will take a lot of people's, rubbish, because I see that it's not a reflection of me. It's more to do with them and how they're feeling and what's going on in their life. So I try and untangle, what's going on for them to find out what provoked that reaction from them. But yes, there definitely has been times. I remember one manager put me in a situation once, and after I spoke to her about it, I was very diplomatic and still very professional about it, but I had my say. She knew I wasn't happy. And at the end of it, she came apologising to me. But yeah, so I'm just curious to know whether you, how you feel about the way people perceive you, and whether it's a true reflection of what you feel yourself to be, or whether you know why you act in that way, and really, if they only knew the real you, how they would be surprised, or what they would really see. And this is so valuable to know this, because the more you know yourself, the better you are to handle situations and shake off other people's projections of how they're feeling or what's going on for them, and not adopt it as a true reflection of who you are. And it may not even be a true reflection of how they normally see you. It could be in the moment that's how they're feeling, and they just want to get it off their chest. So it's been really valuable today to have that time to reflect and look into that insight in myself, because I definitely am, you know, a mountain lion inside. And, you know, I guess that's where the polarities of, I meditate every day, I do yoga, and I do all of these soft-hearted spiritual things to keep myself calm, and I act with love and kindness, you know, as often as I can. But on the flip side, you know, I also box and I play ice hockey. You know, I am a strong woman, and woe betide anybody that ever pushes me to that point. But not just for them, but for me, because like I said, that one time that I did find myself in that situation, it scared me so much to the point I didn't know myself. So yeah, it's genuinely a very accurate statement, that quote of, you know, don't mistake kindness for weakness, because often on the underside, when you push somebody that far, then you just don't know what you're going to get. So I would ask you to look within yourself and find out those similarities and the disparities of, you know, how people perceive you, and how people always say, you know, oh, you're this kind of person, you're always so this, you're always so that. Is it really a true reflection of who you are, or is it an act? And, you know, by knowing that can help you deal with things in a much better or appropriate way. And excuse me, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, just to deal with life in a more effortless way, so that you know really whether you're acting in a situation to, you know, avoid an unnecessary argument or dispute, or whether, if it came down to it, whether you would act in a different way to show your strength and, you know, show that you won't be a pushover. So sorry, I've got a really dry throat. Yes, so that was really my message today. Thank you for joining me, Susan, and anyone that watches the replay, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care. Bye.